Now, live from Whitney Media, 1460 WVOX, the Greenburgh Report, with Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner. You can join in the conversation at 914-636-0110. Now on 1460 WVOX, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Hi, I'm Paul Feiner. I'm the Greenburgh Town Supervisor. And we have a really interesting show. We're going to be talking about food insecurity and the fact that there's people in Westchester who are hungry. And we're going to be interviewing a woman who has been helping feed some of the hungriest people in Elmsford. Ify Ezinwa is a journalist, and she also gives of her time helping to bridge the gap and make people a little happier, especially during the holiday season. So, Ify, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
Could you maybe tell us a little bit about yourself to start?
My name is Ify. Like you already said, I am Nigerian American, and I'm a journalist. I am a documentary filmmaker, and I am the founder and CEO of Echoes Africa Initiatives. It's a not-for-profit, really founded to bridge the gap between the haves and the have-nots, because sometimes in the society we forget that there are people who are really suffering, have nothing. I grew up having nothing as a child of a single mother, one of the 7 kids of a single mother in Africa. And I know how hard it was. So when I see people who are not able to feed, it takes me back to my childhood, and there's no way that I couldn't do something about it. Even though professionally I'm a journalist, but on the side, myself and my team, we make our time to really do what we can to make life better for people.
How long have you been in the United States for?
I've been here since December 2009.
Wow, and what made you decide to come to the United States?
Basically, life is all about it's a change and you move, but the thing is, I found that I could really fulfill my potential here in the United States because of the opportunities. I was already a journalist back in Nigeria, and I'd been coming to the United States. I traveled to different parts of the world to interview people, really just getting to know people, getting to talk about people, particularly the African diaspora. And so the opportunity came and I came because my husband moved, and so I had to join him here in the United States.
This is quite noble that you take your own journey story of growing up and not having and turning that into something so positive and giving back to the community. Now, I understand you recently had Dining to Donate event, which was on December 1st at Burger King. Could you elaborate to our listening audience a little bit about this event and how we could get involved and what the donations are for and where they're going towards?
We had a Dining to Donate on December 1st. And the owner of Burger King in Elmsford, Peg Kanev, she's also someone whose story is similar to mine. And she grew up having nothing. And she has been very supportive of the things we do. And she gave us the opportunity to have a fundraiser at Burger King. And it's basically to be able to, it's amazing that in New York, in Westchester, where you have the richest people, you also have people who are not able to put food on the table. And we talk about that all the time when I sit with the community I've built in Elmsford. And we partner with Feeding Westchester, but we also find that there are certain group of people who are not catered for.
Right.
For instance, the babies and little kids, and some people with special diet.
Right.
So we and Feeding Westchester, they've been off also Feeding Westchester, but they can only bring what they have.
Exactly.
So we raising funds to be able to get some of these things that the regular people come and ask for, that when like the food for babies, food for little kids, and food for people who are on a special diet that we're not able to. We want to be able to cater for everybody who needs food on the table. So that's why we're doing the fundraising. And of course, even the regular outreach we do requires funding.
Absolutely.
There's so many things for everyone. We have to print flyers. We have to do a lot of things, make sure people are aware of the program. And unfortunately, we can't do more than once a month. But I mean, our partners are willing for us they really would like for us to do more, but people work.
Right.
And it's mostly volunteer based. So we're just trying to look at
we have to take a break, and then we'll be back with Ify Ezinwa, and we're going to be talking about her monthly effort helping to feed Elmsford's seniors and people who are hungry and who need a little help. So I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor. We'll be right back.
WVOX. Now back to the Greenburgh Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
I'm Paul Feiner, and this is the holiday season, and it's time during the holidays to recognize that not everybody is as happy, and not everybody has enough food for their families. And with us today is Ify Ezinwa, and she is a journalist who has been volunteering her time helping to feed the hungry in the village of Elmsford. And could you tell us how often you have this feeding program and where it's located?
We have the feeding program every last Saturday of the month. Although sometimes, like before the Thanksgiving, we realized that we had to bring it forward so people could have food to eat during the Thanksgiving holidays. Now, before the holidays are coming, we're bringing it forward to have it on the 22nd of December so people can have food to eat over the holidays. But usually we have it every last Saturday of the month at the Elmsford Senior Center in Elmsford, 10 Stone Street. And it's open to everybody because hunger knows no color, knows no body. If people are hungry, people are hungry. People need food to eat. So it's open to everybody.
That's wonderful. And what time should people come to?
Usually we start distributing food at 1 p.m. The truck comes in early, we set up, we make sure everything is ready for them. And then we will distribute between 1 p.m. and 2:30 p.m.
Elmsford is a small village. It's one of the smallest villages around. So I guess you probably get, over a dozen people each month.
We get over 100 people each month.
Wow.
Over 100 registered people. And then when you put together the family members, there it comes to about 300 and above every month.
That's absolutely fantastic. That you're really servicing the needs of the community, and that people have this option, this wonderful service available to help them, especially during the holidays, when that's how we usually celebrate the holidays, is with food. To be able to have an organization that has this year-end food outreach where families or single people or whatever your family situation is, has an opportunity to come and get food. Now, can you tell us what are some of the items that are available that people can get?
It varies from month to month, but usually they get vegetables, all sorts of vegetables. They get fruits, they get eggs, milk, they get meat, a lot of meat. This is feeding Westchester has been great. They bring a lot of meat, the beef, chicken. During the Thanksgiving distribution, we gave out turkeys. We gave out, I think, about 35 turkeys to people. They have chicken. They have anything that people can eat is usually there. Fruits, vegetable, all sorts of groceries.
Although it's wonderful, it's also sad because here we're living in Westchester County, and it highlights the fact that there is still, sadly, poverty. And a couple weeks ago on Thanksgiving, the town, there was a gentleman who donated 1,000 free meals, and I went there, and I was really surprised because when I went to the Greenburgh Health Center, which was giving out the meals, I thought people would be all, look homeless, but they look, I knew a lot of the people, and they basically were just neighbors who are having a tough time with life. And I think when you go to these food banks, you see that you're surprised who you see. Do you find that people are sometimes embarrassed to come for food, or how do people maintain their dignity?
Yeah, I mean, we've witnessed that people are embarrassed. There was a couple who drove in their car, and then they stopped by. This was during the outreach for October, and then they stopped by, and they just found that they would drive around and park, and then go back around again. And I had to walk up to them. I'm like, okay, wait, it's free. He said, is it free? He said, but I said, do you need food? And he said, yes, we need food, but they find it somehow. I say it's not. I say it's for everybody. Even if I have something I need, you have to get them to realize that they're not alone. So if I need something that I don't have, I can get from it. So it's free. Eventually, they came in and got, and they came back in November.
Right.
Right. And you see people driving cars. You don't know what everyone is going through.
It's true.
People are going through a lot.
It's true.
And yesterday, I went to one of the barbing salons. It's a big barbing salon in Elmsford. I wanted to place this flyer, and I told the guy, the manager, that I wanted to put it for in case his customers would need. And there were about 4 customers there. They stood up and looked at it, and they started asking me, "Oh, really?" One could barely speak English. Say, "Oh, that he will come. Oh, yeah, that he didn't know this was happening, and that he needs." We say, "I have 4 kids. I can't feed them." So people are hungry.
Yes.
You see them, they don't look home. You think the people who are not able to put food on the table are people who look homeless or no, they are regular people like us.
Right, who have and is there anything that we could do as a government or as community leaders to make it less embarrassing for people? So to encourage more people to take advantage of the program without feeling shame.
I am not. Mayor Roberts asked me the same question because he usually drops in every month. He'll come in to see how it's going, and then he will stand and we'll be talking. It's like, it's incredible that this number of people need food. He said, and there are people who are not. He noticed some of them who are somehow afraid or somehow embarrassed, because sometimes we want to take pictures. We try not to take their faces just for documentation. But you see, when the camera is out, people are hiding their faces.
Right.
They don't want to be seen to not have food to eat. So I'm not sure. Guess that's a research we'll have to do with your office to find out what could be done, to really encourage people and make them less embarrassed.
It's a big systemic problem, because even in schools where sometimes the schools give out free lunches, there's a stigma, and sometimes children are afraid to let their peers know that they are on a free lunch program, so they rather not eat at all,
right,
than to partake. So it is, I really thank you for coming to the show today and sharing us your vision and concern and bringing awareness to the community, because we really need to let people feel more comfortable about asking for food, even in a school setting, or even as adults. If you need, there's no embarrassment or no shame when you need help. And this is just another source of needing help. If you were sick, wouldn't you go to the doctor? You wouldn't be embarrassed and not
Right.
go. So people, we have to understand.
Now back to the Greenburgh Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Good morning. I'm Paul Feiner. I'm the Greenburgh Town Supervisor, and my co-host is Professor Pauline Mosley, and we're interviewing Ify Ezinwa. And Ify has a group called Echoes Africa Initiative. And they also are sponsoring this monthly food drive in Elmsford the last Saturday of the month. And where is it in Elmsford?
It's at the Senior Center at 10 Stone Street in Elmsford.
And they get about 300 people. What time again?
1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. every last Saturday of the month.
And the food is prepared by who?
Feeding Westchester.
So Feeding Westchester has like a truck, and then people get the food and it's all prepared. And you don't have to live in Elmsford to get the food. If you're hungry and in need of food, just stop by.
Yeah, and it's not really prepared food. They are groceries.
Yes.
Every kind of groceries which you need to prepare healthy meals for yourself and your family. With meat, vegetables, everything you need, fruits. Sometimes last time they brought like 20 boxes of orange juice. So yeah, they give out all kinds of food at the distribution.
That's great. Could you tell us a little bit about Echoes Africa?
Okay. It's funny because Echoes Africa is not originally founded to do food outreach. We are a not-for-profit. As a journalist, most things I do is, everything I do is really about talking about the underprivileged. Mm-hmm. So I do stories, I do documentary series, I do original stories, and I write a published magazine about the have-nots, people, the needs, people who are marginalized, people who are not up there. So that is basically what we do. We tell their stories. We tell because we find that people really get help when people hear their stories. Because you'll be amazed that the number of people who don't know what's going on around them, not know that people. For instance, a lot of people don't know that there are people in Westchester who don't have food to eat. Mm-hmm. So we tell stories about the minority group, the Africans, the BIPOC community. We tell their stories through TV. We have a regular TV show on public access TV station. And then we also have them on social media, and then we publish in a magazine. So in the course of it, then the pandemic hit. Mm-hmm. Now, the pandemic brought home to us the number of people who cannot put food on the table. And so we actually started this outreach during the pandemic because we wanted to reach out to the communities that we serve. Mm-hmm. And the first time we did it, we were amazed at the number of people who turned out. And that's how the food outreach started and is expanding. So Echoes Africa Initiative, we do that. We have a mentorship program that was supposed to kick off in the fall of this year, but we're kicking off next year, spring. Mm-hmm. We are going to have a mentorship program for young girls in Greenburgh. And that's one of the things we're working on now. We put together a team. But this food outreach program has come to stay because people are hungry all the time. In terms of your magazine, does it have only a local readership, or is it a national? It's actually international.
International.
Yes, because it has readership across Africa. As I go to do my interviews, do my productions, I travel to various parts of Africa and other parts of the world where they have Africans. And so we have them, like in most of the African missions, the embassies and all, they have the magazines. They always request, they always subscribe to it. And then we have the app now, so people all over, they can have it all over the world. Yeah.
Oh, wow. How often do you go back to Africa?
I go often. I travel like maybe in a year, I go like 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then we actually have for Africa, the program we have under ECOS Africa Initiative is the orphanage outreach, because the orphans in Africa are, you don't even want to know their situation. So what we do is we pick every quarter, we pick 2-3 orphanages that will reach out to, and we make sure we have teams on ground there. We make sure that the things we give out gets to the kids directly.
Wow.
We do, and just like we do this, we do an outreach. We buy them the things they need, school supplies, food, clothing, and all. So this December, we're doing 2 outreaches in Nigeria, orphanage outreach. So as we travel, people are people all over the world.
Yes.
So we try to meet the needs of people as I go about my professional career.
So it's actually pretty interesting because you're dealing with the hungry in Africa, and you're dealing with the hungry in Greenburgh and in Elmsford. What's sort of like the differences between dealing with people, around the world, and how does sort of Greenburgh compare, or your interactions even with local governments? Is it different?
It's definitely different. I mean, we are getting the support we need from the government. For instance, in Elmsford, we do that. We partner with the mayor. Usually, we wouldn't have that space. If we didn't have that space, it would be difficult, because for the truck to come in, for they to even sign a contract with you, you need to have a space where the truck can go in and back out, and go out without backing out. So I spoke with the mayor, with Mayor Robert Williams, and he approved it. We're able to do that. I'm here today. You heard about us.
Yes.
Paul emailed me that he would like me to come on the show. This is the kind of support we are getting. We don't get that kind of support with the things we do.
The other question is, sometimes people donate to organizations that help the poor, say in Africa or Latin America, and you don't realize, because the governments are not as, they're not. Some of them are more corrupt. Do you find that in Africa, the donations actually go to the people who need it?
I can only speak for ECOS Africa. The donations that people donate, we make sure our team goes directly to the orphanages that we have earmarked to do the outreach in, and make sure the items reach the people. And then even there, we have videos taken, and most times we ask the donors to join on Zoom while the outreach is going on.
Wow.
And so we do the video, we package it, all the donors are mentioned at the outreach. So, and exactly what you gave is mentioned, so you have it, because we know, and we have seen it, that some of the things, because of corruption and all, you make things available, you donate to people who are in need, it never reaches them. Because of that, I made sure that everything we do directly. We work with our team directly.
That is so interesting.
That's very interesting.
In fact, that's like one of the most inspiring stories in terms of charities, because there's a lot of organizations, that say, they want to help people, say in Haiti, or they want to help people in poverty-stricken, countries, and the money doesn't go where it is. So I love the idea of having Zoom efforts. Do you know, is that something that the international charitable, groups are doing more of, or is your group sort of unique? Because that is real.
That's
that is really great. Like I was reading, after the Haiti, earthquakes, there was so much, donations, and people said a lot of the money just disappeared.
It doesn't get there.
So this is really, so maybe you should work for the United Nations instead.
Then I'll lose the direct touch. Then I'll have to go through all of that.
Yeah.
This is it. People donate. I have to be accountable.
Yes,
and I tell my team all in Africa, we have to be accountable for everything. This person donated $100. What can $100 buy? Make sure you put it on paper. Mr. Paul Feiner donated $100. We used it to purchase 5 bags of rice. And then we're donating it to this orphanage. Let everything. That's how we can be accountable. Because I've seen it.
Yes.
I've seen how it's mismanaged. I've seen how people would go buy cars for money donated for charity.
Right.
So this is the only way I can ensure that these kids, because then the kids suffer.
We have to take a break. I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor. We have a really interesting program with Ify Ezinwa and Pauline Mosley.
Now back to the Greenburgh Report on 1460 WVOX. Once again, here's Greenburgh Town Supervisor Paul Feiner.
Hi, I'm Paul Feiner. I'm the Greenburgh Town Supervisor, and my guest is Ify Ezinwa, and she is with Echoes magazine, and she also is a resident of the village of Elmsford, and she organizes through Echoes Africa Initiatives a monthly food drive. And anyone who's hungry, the last Saturday of the month could get food from 12:30 to 2:30. And they usually get about 300 people. And where is that again?
It's at the Elmsford Senior Center, 10 Stone Street in Elmsford.
And the last Saturday of this month also it's going to be?
No, this month, because of the holidays, we want people to have food for the holidays. So we're having it on the 22nd, next week, Thursday.
Next week on Thursday. Do people have to RSVP to get the food?
No.
You just stop by?
You just stop by, we take your information, know the number of people in the household, and then that's basically it. And you're not compelled to put your name down. You could just say anonymous. We just want to be able to give account of how many people and have a data of how many people will serve. That's why I'm able to give you numbers when you ask. Yeah,
that's right. If people want to volunteer or donate or help out, how do they do so?
They could go to our website, echoesafricainitiative.org, or they could call me directly. My cell phone number, I give it out at 646-263-4834. And you could also call the office number and reach out to us. Go to the website, donate, volunteer. We always need volunteers.
And you have a website?
Yes, we have a website, www.echoesafricainitiatives.org.
That is great. And your office address is?
It's 75 North Central Avenue, Suite 202 in Elmsford.
And that the office address is not only for the food effort, but it's basically for your other initiatives in the magazine?
Yes, it is.
That is that is really great. And again, I was so inspired by your controls where when people make a donation, say to Africa, to the children in Africa, you want to know that it really is going to children in Africa. So what they do is they have Zoom, calls, and then they actually see the children getting the food or the supplies or the donations. If a donor wants to see the videos, could they see that also?
Oh, we have them on our website, and then we usually, even the donors, we also make them put on YouTube, then send them links to the YouTube.
That should be almost like a requirement.
Yes.
Because I am always so upset when I read about all the misuses. Are there any? And this is good for even local governments. Are there any controls that you think other charities should be required to do?
I mean, basically, what I say is that people want to see what their money is being used for. And I know that from experience. If I donate and I don't see you doing what you said you were going to do, that's why I said when we founded this organization, we want to be as transparent and as accountable as possible. So that's why when we make flyers for the outreaches in Africa, we say you are also invited to join the outreach on Zoom. So before Zoom, we'll make videos and then send you the links. Every donor is mentioned. So you look at the items, look at the things being done there, and then you'll be able to find out, okay, the amount of money donated, is it what you're saying, right? So we make sure, and then of course, we also find that even some of the orphanages, if you give the items to the management of the orphanage, some of the things don't get to the kids directly. So when we make shoes, I get them to go find sizes. Because you find where people will buy shoes, they buy one size for all the kids. So find out the sizes, how many kids, What are their sizes? We get the a school backpack. We get the shoes. The kids come there. We give them directly. And they say some people would donate as $2. If you convert it to the local currency, you can buy a pair of shoes. We say this pair of shoe is donated by Mr. This. And then some of the kids will say, thank you, Mr. Paul. And we get all this on video. So if you're watching, you're seeing it. If you are not available because of the time difference, we do the videos and we send it to you.
You should be like an auditor. I mean, this is really I bet you that if every organization did what you did, I bet you that we would be helping, millions of additional people. I think this is really, 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 fantastic. And, now I'm going to look at even town programs because, the thing is, every organization says, oh, we have this amount of money, look what we're doing. And there's really not as much controls as you really need. This is really amazing. I'm glad. How long have you lived in Greenburgh now?
Since January 2021.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So we're going to have to get you more involved. And you could tell us what we could do better. And you indicated that the Echo's Food Pantry, you also serve the Bronx.
Yes, we serve the Bronx.
And could you tell us, and you lived in the Bronx before you moved into...
Yes, I'm a Bronx girl.
That's great. But we're going to make you say you're a Greenburgh girl. So what made you decide to move to Elmsford?
What made me decide to move to Elmsford? I visited Elmsford and I just loved the serenity. I loved how calm it is. And we did our research and we moved.
So where else do you serve? I know you mentioned you do this food outreach at your church in the Bronx. Could you tell us where that's at as well for those individuals?
Yes, at 923 Simpson Street in Hunts Point in the Bronx is the Chapel of the Great Restorer, a Redeemed Christian Church of God, Chapel of the Great Restorer. So we have that. For that, because we don't have the equivalent of Feeding Westchester, so that we have to go source from stores and all donations, and also we do that on a quarterly basis.
Oh, this is really, really great. What you're doing, and I really am very inspired by your efforts. In terms of other initiatives that you do, could you tell us a little bit about that?
The one that is close to my heart is the mentorship program for girls that we're planning in Greenburgh. And we, for certain reason, there are things we've discovered with girls in the school in Elmsford that I can't say now because that would defeat the purpose of what we're trying to do.
Correct.
But it's a need that we need to fill. I've been discussing this with Peg Caneve and the Rotary Club of Elmsford. So we'd had to fine-tune this to make sure that the girls are attracted to come in. But one of the things I want to do, I'm a journalist, I'm a documentary filmmaker. So I want to be able to train girls how, the teenagers now are mostly always on their phones, their tablets. So I want to be able to train them how they can do stories, documentary stories with their devices. Get them involved, meet them on a weekly basis as part of the mentorship program. And then meet them on a monthly basis, teach them. And then at some point we'll have competition where we can invite people in the town to come watch what these people have been able to do. Some of them might build a career for them. Then it may center some of them. It may give them a focus. It may also take some of them, like the truancy and all of that we've heard happening. It may really... With that and other programs, because we're going to have people come talk to them, we're going to match each child, each girl to a mentor, depending on that person's interest. That's basically what we're planning.
That is so
exciting.
Amazing. It's so, and if I could be of help on any of these efforts, that would be great. In fact, maybe you could attend a town board meeting, a Greenburgh town board meeting, and talk about the amazing things you've done. because you're really a very inspiring individual. In fact, I'm so glad I forgot to post the information about the Burger King, because then I would not have invited you on the program if I was more organized. And it's such a thrill to meet you. And I'm really looking forward to working with you, and I'm so glad that you're part of our community. So thanks for joining us. And again, if people want to volunteer, info@echosafricainitiatives.org, and the phone number is 646-263-4834. 646-263-4834, and it's info@echosafricainitiatives.org. I'm Paul Feiner, Greenburgh Town Supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and I'm Pauline. And next week, please join us for our Kids Holiday Show.